Next week, there is going to be the end of Sister Wives, the end of season 20. I don't know if it's actually the finale of Sister Wives, but it's the finale of season 20 with the fourth part of this tell-all. You know, this tell-all has been very weird. It has jumped all over the place. It hasn't watched anything that's happened on the season. It's like picking and choosing small bits of information, small topics. It kind of felt like the whole season felt like nothing happened. And supposedly Macklety was on Growing Up in Polygamy, and she said that the show will be back for at least one more season, and that in the past 6 months, there hasn't really been much filming. Very sporadic. It sounds like season 21 will be maybe the last. And I guess Janelle will be in it, although I don't know. She didn't know how much. And she claimed that Janelle was vacillating between just wanting to get off the camera, wanting to be done, wanting to move on, but then also realizing that without the show, she doesn't have any money. She doesn't have any other, it's her main income. I mean, sure, they have their LM stuff, but that's erratic. Like, that depends on how well that MLM is doing at the time. And with MLMs in general, like Plexus, you have to spend a lot to make a lot. And I don't know, it's usually with the family, this family at least, they plow through MLMs, and they have one that they're doing at the time. They've done several of these over the years, and then they pull back from it. I haven't seen Janelle doing a lot of pushing of Plexus in a while. She does. Now she's marketing her life coaching. But regardless, she doesn't have a lot of income beyond the show, and so she wants to supposedly be done, but at the same time, she needs the income to live the life she wants to live. Anyway, none of the kids want to be on the show anymore, and there's just not a lot for them to film. And so TLC needs to make a choice. So at least season 21, at least one more season. And frankly, I don't know that it could continue beyond that because there's just nothing left. It's just the only reason people tune in, I think, is because of the polygamy part. And because the polygamy aspect is gone and the women are all moving on, you're basically forcing these women to stay on a show with a guy that they wanted to get away from. Right, so the new show that'll be on Sunday, US Weekly put out a clip, but then the clip it's not on their website. It isn't loading it. There's an error apparently. You can't even see it. But it has to do with Robyn and her discussing that Meri and the catfishing situation, with essentially Meri exposing that, she was having conversations with the catfish, or apparently with the catfish that the Robyn would end up hearing about, and that she was having conversations with Robyn, private conversations with Robyn, that the catfish would end up hearing about, and that Kody was going back to Robyn, was going back to Kody and telling him what was happening with the catfish. And I don't know, the underlying subtext is that Robyn was meddling in this catfishing situation, possibly making it worse while also telling on Meri, right? And I feel like Robyn Brown should just be she's like the Blake Lively of polygamy. She's like the Taylor Swift. She's like the I never ever apologize. I just double down. And supposedly Suki confronts Robyn and says, after everything that's happened, you don't feel that Meri has any grounds to distrust you? And Robyn says, I do not. I absolutely do not. I've had Meri's back. This is my dramatic reading since you guys can't see the video. You understand why maybe Meri could have a right to fear you? No. No, I totally do not. That was the extent of the clip I could find, which was included in the trailer or the preview for next week at the end of the show last week. So yeah, she gets very upset about this, and US Weekly quotes her as saying this. All I know is she was having a chat online about flowers and texting and music and flirting, and I was like, she is struggling. Get your butt over there. Figure this out with her. As she mentions telling this to Kody, that's what I was doing. Okay. She's sitting there saying that she can't trust me because of this or that. I had her screaming back. Okay. Meri says that Robyn made the entire situation worse with the catfishing because she told on her to Kody. And Meri denied that there was any affair. It was literally just online conversations, and Robyn continues, I was sitting there watching everything that was happening, and I was worried about her. And I was saying she kicked you out. You go stay in another room. You have the conversation with her. You don't come over here. You go work it out with her. She's been taken advantage of. She's being taken advantage of. She's being taken advantage of. She's being taken advantage of. I'm going to repeat that for the 14th time. She's being taken advantage of. So, Robyn knows full well that this is not an affair. She knows full well that this is all a ruse and it's all fake. Even if I didn't know it was a catfishing situation, even just somebody sitting there taking advantage of someone who was struggling, a woman who was struggling. I was like, you get your butt over there and you talk to her. You work this out. Even if I didn't know it was a catfishing situation, even just someone sitting there taking advantage of someone, Robyn's acknowledging that she flat out knew that Meri was being catfished because she was in the middle of it. She was communicating with both the catfish and Meri. She's admitting this was not an affair. She's admitting she knew it was fake the whole time. Robyn then recalls talking to Meri herself as well, telling her then friend, "What is this conversation you're having? Why are you talking to this person?" I was being open with both of them. I was talking to both of them. And then, Robyn, who's distraught and upset, tells Suki if she wants to say that somehow I did something wrong here, that is fine. I don't have a problem with that because I know what my intentions were. Interesting. So I'll tell you a secret about polygamy and cult leaders like Kody. Kody can only maintain control and dominance in this family if he has minions that are willing to give him information and tell on the people about what's happening when he's not around. So Kody relies on the wives to feed him information so he knows what's happening in dynamics, and he can get details from other women about what other women are doing that those women might not want to tell him. And in a dynamic like this, there are many unhappy women, okay? And when the catfishing situation happens, it's right after they get a legal divorce. And it's in a period where Meri has now become an empty nester. Their child has gone off to college. She doesn't feel like she fits in the family. She's drifting away from Kody, and their marriage is completely on the rocks. Meri, in the very first season, even said that she would be and would have left Kody if not for their child. She did not like the suffering. She did not like dealing with the jealousy. She did not like this concept of having to suffer in order to be happy. Meri was candid in the first season about the issues she dealt with in her legal marriage. All right? And all of them didn't like Meri because Meri was the legal wife, because Meri had the power and yet pretended to be nice to her face on the show, but then behind her back were running to Kody and telling on her constantly. And in a situation like this, the reason why no one can be vulnerable is because they're all out for number one. They're all trying to survive, and they're all trying to be Kody's favorite. And I know they always say that they're not supposed to be favorites, but I'm sorry. You cannot tell me that if you're in a plural dynamic, you wouldn't want or get some sort of high off feeling like you were the one that he likes to spend the time with the most. That's just natural, right? If you truly love this person and then you feel like I'm his favorite, what person wouldn't like that? What person wouldn't? No, that's not even a question. They all wanted to be the most adored. They all wanted to be the most loved, and that's what he's thriving on. But when the family becomes big and famous, he can no longer control their access to the outside world. So then it becomes even more important that he has allies in his wives to be the tattletale. Kody relied on Meri to be the tattletale for a long time. He wanted her to give him information, and in fact, strung her along for a very long time, trying to make her feel like he was going to actually have a better relationship with her, and tried to reconcile knowing full well he never was going to do that to keep her in the family, to keep the money flowing, to keep her money flowing directly to him. I mean, Meri has said that when she left Kody or when she wasn't living with Kody, when they were in Flagstaff Kody, and Robyn forced her to open up her bank accounts and books to show them that she was giving them money. The fair share of the money she was making without them, the audacity. So, he needs tattletales, and he needs people that are going to give him information. And information is currency, and information is loyalty. And loyalty is what he wants. So, the more loyal you can be, the more willing you get in there to do the dirty work, the more loyal you are to Kody. Before Robyn, there was definitely this dynamic in the family. I just don't think that any one of them are as calculated as Robyn. But I do think that Janelle did contribute to telling Kody stories, and in this upcoming episode, she gets called out for it, and she admits to tattling on Meri to Kody as well. Told Meri that she should, just take all the money and leave. And at that point, I sort of ended that professional relationship with her cause I felt uncomfortable. So, you told Kody what was said between you and Jen. Yeah. I must have probably wondered why I was ending why I was looking for a different person. It drives me bonkers about these women. Okay, So Jen is a woman that honestly has only ever wanted the best for all of these women and has only ever wanted the women to have happiness and not be controlled by a man like Kody. Jen is in the world of polygamy too strong, and God forbid she's a woman with an opinion. What bothers me about the way that to this day some of these women frame Meri or anyone with an opinion, it's as though they are evil incarnated. And Christine, in a clip that was also shared, basically said that Kody doesn't like any woman that has an opinion, that is not a yes person, that is strong in what she thinks, and strong in her opinions and thoughts and her feelings and her mindset. And I got to say something, y'all. I hate it when people frame women that are just being humans and standing up for themselves, and not accepting being steamrolled or manipulated as being strong-willed, right? So, it's essentially saying like, if you're not strong-willed, you're willing to be manipulated and steamrolled, and you're an easy target for the patriarchy cult of Kody Brown. And that's just stupid. All Jennifer Sullivan is. Jen is a woman that sees and lives out here in the real world where women are allowed to have an opinion, where women are allowed to have a voice, where women are allowed to have their own lives, where they're not being controlled by a man. And the way that Janelle cut off her and is lying about this because Christine has said that Janelle gave her the same advice, that she should just get her money together before she leaves so she can be independent on her own, right? She gave that advice to Christine. But even if that's the advice that Jen gave to Meri, what is wrong with a friend telling her to divorce him and take the money and divide the money? It's a community property state. Meri is entitled to the money as a wife if she owns joint property and has bank accounts with her husband. It's her legal right there. She's done nothing wrong than tell a friend what their legal right is. It reminds me of when Janelle blocked me years ago because on the show she condemned Kyle Henderson's wife Nicole, who had been viciously abused by him, beaten, and Janelle had said, "I can't imagine ever leaving Kody and just giving up." Because on the show, they were lamenting that essentially Kyle's first wife simply just left him for no reason, and they slandered Nicole on the show, and that got me blocked, because I stood up for a victim of domestic violence. What does Jen have to say about this? Tell Meri to take the money and run. I sincerely regret not telling Meri to leave, but I never told her to take the money and run. And what's funny too is I have never heard this story until literally this year. He's like, "Meri, I have to tell you something. Jen's not good for you because this is what she did." And I'm like, she never told me that. Why would she go tell Janelle that she told me that? Like, she never told me to take the money and run. Well, he's like, well, Janelle said that. Janelle told me when it actually happened. I'm like, it never happened. I have to say something here because I know something that actually happened during this period. It was during the same season that they had the polygamists on the show that had left. So like when they had the episodes where the kids that had escaped were working with organizations, and when they did the panel, right? Remember that? And Janelle told people in that period off camera, that as soon as the show was over, Kody would be broke. They all would be broke. They would be bankrupt because he's spending money faster than he made it. And Janelle also said off camera to someone that I trust immensely that she was hiding money, stuffing it away, preparing herself to leave, so she had money when it would be over so she could leave Kody. Janelle was talking about leaving Kody in season 5 and season 6 and was telling another person off camera she was hiding money from Kody to leave him. They all were trying to leave Kody. Obviously, this is alleged and I wasn't in the conversation, but again, I trust the source that told me this information. But the allegation I was told was that Janelle was preparing to leave and was allegedly hiding money. Janelle, Christine, and Meri, that's the fact. All three of them wanted out. And they wanted out for years. That's the truth. And the same person that told me that thing about Janelle said that the only person of all the 3 wives that were still with Kody that were not the favorite like Robyn, the only one that was honest about what was experienced by them in the family was Meri. Full stop. They said Meri was the only one that admitted there was jealousy.
She was the only one that acknowledged that it wasn't easy to share a husband, that acknowledged the reasons why they do it for their faith and to get into heaven and all of that. She was the only one. She was the only one not protecting polygamy. And I'll tell you another thing. The reason they all cast out Meri and scapegoated her for years was because Meri was out of the family.
For all intents and purposes, Meri was not involved in the day-to-day life of the family outside of filming. All of Meri's friends were in the real world. Meri was becoming too worldly. Meri was developing opinions and thoughts and views that didn't align with the cult mindset. And so then they made Meri the scapegoat. This is a fabricated story that's being made up to protect Janelle for whatever Janelle was doing to gain favor with Kody and to blame Meri. And that's what Janelle has done to Meri for years. Made up stories about her told on her and made her appear like the bad guy. And because Janelle is easier for Kody to manipulate and easier for him to silence, and she will keep sweet for him like she's doing again in this episode, it proves again that Janelle was not trustworthy. Like Meri had zero reason to trust any of these people, and that they all talked massive crap about her on the show, and they all acted like Meri was the abusive one. So, I have to tell you something. Couple weeks ago, one of my longtime sources who's affiliated with this cult, not inside it anymore, reached out to me to let me know what was going on with Meri, and most particularly upset about the way that these women were framing Meri as being physically abusive. And the person said to me, every single one of them spanked. Every single one of them spanked. This is a society where corporal punishment is used, and every single one of the women spanked and hit their children. Meri spanked, Janelle spanked, Christine spanked, they all spanked. That was the claim allegedly. And so for any of them to act like Meri did something different than what anyone else was doing, they said was ridiculous. Y'all know how I feel about spanking. I don't do it. I don't believe in it. I think it's wrong. I think it should be banned. I think physical punishment of any form is wrong. But that's what they said. Like they have been trying to frame Meri as the abusive one when all of them were doing it because, as they said in this society, that's what is done. And I've said that for years. Corporal punishment is part of this culture. And so for any of them to act like Meri would have been the only one is ridiculous. And for any of them to act like Meri is the only one when they also know that Kody was doing it is also ridiculous. So that's what I was told. So Meri is exposing the tattletales, and Meri is exposing the women that tried to keep her in line, with Robyn getting heated and angry, and Janelle saying, "Yep, I told on Meri." So tell me what your thoughts are in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed, and click the bell so you never miss a video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye, besties.